Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, boxing. Now, my boy Vergil Ortiz Jr., man, big dog, big top contender, just knocked out Igas Velasquez, man. It was a phenomenal fight, man. Back and forth, man. But Vergil Ortiz got the job done, and he did it in spectacular fashion, right? He gave the fans what they want. And what do they want, man? They want knockouts. Right? They want knockouts. So Vergil Ortiz, man, the guy is the living epitome of what the fans want. The guy has 18 wins, 18 KOs, and he's young too. The guy's only 23 years old. And man, he had big words to say after he beat Igas Velasquez. He said he wants the big dog, pound per pound number one fighter, Terence Crawford, man. The guy's undisputed fighter at 140, had all 4 titles. And he went up to 147 to get the WBO title by beating Jeff Horn, man, and stopping every fighter that's ever came in the ring with him at 147. Called out Terence Crawford, man. Called out the big dog. Called out the animal, the beast. Man. Now, that being said, man, Terence Crawford has big words to say to Vergil Ortiz, man. He said, enjoy your victory before I end your career. Big words, my boy Terence Crawford. Now, Crawford, man, Crawford is an animal, man. We all know about Terence Crawford, but there's a lot of fights that people need to understand that, Terence Crawford was fighting dangerous fighters. Now, understand when Terence Crawford got the fight to become undisputed at 140, one of the fights he got that made him win undisputed, one fighter had 2 of the 4 titles. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Julius Indongo. Julius Indongo, man, the guy was a monster at the time. He had went to Russia he was a complete unknown fighter, right? Went to Russia and then stopped Odward Trusnowski, right? Knocked him out 1 round. It was a left hand punch. I think it was a straight right or left hook. Straight. It was a straight left or left hook, right? But he's a southpaw fighter. Knocked him out 1 round and then went to the UK and completely outboxed and just outclassed Ricky Burns. So he showed he had extreme amount of power, and then he showed he can outbox guys. And when he fought Ricky Burns, watch that fight, guys. Go back and watch that fight. He dropped him multiple times. The ref was just not giving him the knockdowns for some reason. But ever since then, his career has been in limbo. But understand that Julius Indongo had 2 of the 4 titles. He had the IBO title and the IBF title and the WBA title. So, Terence Crawford, everything is in the moment. And Indongo's at the peak of his career when he fought Terence Crawford, and he completely annihilated him. Now Vergil Ortiz doing phenomenal feats, but Julius Indongo would have been the fastest undisputed champion if he would have got past Terence Crawford, because like I said earlier, he went to Russia, stopped Edward, and then the following was 5 months later, because he knocked out this Russian in December, and then he fought Ricky Burns in April. So that was 5 months later. He got 2 of the 4 titles, and then he was trying to unify in August with Terence Crawford. So that means this guy would have not only got all 4 belts, but he would have did it in like a year, less than a year, So, well, I guess he had the WBO title, but that was the international title. When he got the world titles, yeah, man, it would have been less than a year. He would became undisputed. So these are the kind of fighters Terence Crawford is fighting. People who are trying to become undisputed in less than 1 year's time. Go look at Julius Indongo's record. When he first got a title, it was in December of 2016, and by 2017 August, he was fighting for undisputed. That's less than a year he was doing that in. Julius Indongo is a big name fighter, man. I just feel like the trainer he went with didn't fit to his style, because understand that Indongo is an unorthodox kind of fighter. But that being said, man, I had to just walk you through that one fight that people just don't really play too much of, because Indongo his career hasn't went like people will like. But Indongo is an extremely elite level fighter. But that being said, Terence Crawford has fought a lot of elite level fighters, but I just named one of them that I had to hype up, because that guy was really elite at the time, really elite, big dog. But that being said, man, Vergil Ortiz, you know, he hasn't fought as many styles as Terence Crawford. He hasn't fought a guy known for speed like Urias Gamboa. He hasn't fought a big welterweight like my boy Kell Brook, that has been champion. Kyle Velasquez was good, but he was never a champion. He hasn't fought any former world champions, actually, Vergil Ortiz. So, you know, that being said, man, Vergil Ortiz needs to slow his roll, because understand that Terence Crawford, last time he fought a top Hispanic fighter, which is Jose Benavidez Jr., the guy has not fought since, right? He stopped there around 12, and the guy hasn't fought since October 13th of 2018. That's big facts right there. So, and Jose Benavidez, the guy only has one loss, and that's to Terence Crawford. He's a career-ending kind of guy. You know, Benavidez hasn't been in the ring since that loss with Terence Crawford. Now he's scheduled to fight Francisco Emmanuel Torres come this month, actually, on the 28th. So we'll see how he comes back. But, you know, like I said earlier, he hasn't fought since. You know, we're going to see how he comes back. But that being said, man, yeah, Terence Crawford, he tends to, when he stops guys, they don't look the same after, because you don't look like it. But Terence Crawford, he's a hard hitter, man, for sure. You know, Amir Khan hasn't had a big fight since he got stopped by Terence Crawford. Kell Brook hasn't had a big fight since he got stopped by Terence Crawford. Kyle Velasquez tried, and he hasn't been looking too good since the Terence Crawford knockout. You know, I can keep going on and on naming these fighters who, you know, didn't have good careers after Terence Crawford stopped them, because that's what happens when you get knocked out. You know, you're never the same. When Jeff Horn got stopped by Terence Crawford, he then went to fight his contemporary in Australia, right? He fought Shang Tzu's kid, right? Guy who famously beat Zab Judah, knocked him down really bad. Zab Judah stood up, really funny, and then the ref stopped the fight. Tim Tszyu got stopped by him, right? Right. He also lost to Michael Zarefa, right? So there's a lot of fighters who get stopped by Terence Crawford, and then they just never the same. They have a remedial career at best after they get stopped, because Terence Crawford got power, man, in both hands. Two-handed fighter. I think there needs to be a rebranding of Terence Crawford. People need to stop saying he's like a high boxing IQ fighter, and it's true. He definitely doesn't have a high boxing IQ, but he also hits hard as well. And it's like, when you watch these fighters fight, they take a lot of punishment, but when they get hit by Terence Crawford, it's not like they're getting punished by Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, when he decides to stop you, he stops you. So, you know, that being said, man, Vergil Ortiz, you know, is he biting more than he can chew? Terence Crawford is right now fighting for the, it looks like, the WBO mandatory for Sean Porter. They're negotiating the terms of that fight, so that fight has not been signed yet. But I understand that, you know, Terence Crawford only has so many fights with Top Rank left. And Vergil Ortiz, with Top Rank left. And Vergil Ortiz is a Golden Boy fighter, and he could be going to PBC next. So, I mean, is Oscar De La Hoya going to throw him a big bag to fight Vergil Ortiz? Or was it all a clout chase, man? We're going to see, man. We just don't know what Terence Crawford's going to do. I know he basically cleared out all the top fighters that Top Rank has to offer him at 147, and there's nothing left for him at Top Rank, because there's no fighters to really fight there. That's why he's fighting a PBC fighter in Sean Porter. Some big fighters indeed at Golden Boy Promotions. Vergil Ortiz, in my opinion, needs to fight his contemporaries, people his age, because there's just levels in that welterweight division. You know, there's top contenders, and then there's the former world champions. And in my opinion, the contenders are beneath the former world champions. They're beneath the Sean Porters. They're beneath the Keith Thurmans. They're beneath the Danny Garcias. You know, so, you know, those are big dogs right there. Those are the big dogs. You know, recent losses. You know, losses to only current world champions or former world champions. They don't really lose to got, you know, they don't really have one-off losses to the lower fighters of the 147 division. So that being said, man, Vergil Ortiz, yeah, man, he needs to fight Conor Benn, you know, Jaron Boots Ennis, people like that, you know, to really get him ready for the best of the best. Or maybe he needs to fight a boxer who can box but not punch too well, you know. But we'll see, man, what Vergil does from here. But yeah, man, this is suicide watch from Vergil Ortiz if he tries to take this fight. But anything can happen in the sport of boxing, man. You know, punchers are extremely exciting to watch. And Vergil Ortiz, he definitely has a chin. He showed it in the Cap Velasquez fight, and he went toe to toe with Ugas Cap Velasquez. And I'll be honest, man, if Terence Crawford had not as good defense, I think that Vergil Ortiz has a better chin than him. I'm not sure if Terence Crawford could take all those kind of punches. So Vergil Ortiz definitely, in my opinion, has a better chin than him, because I mean, he took all the punches from Cap Velasquez. He don't have the defense. So instead of blocking the punches and weaving the punches, he was just getting hit in the face. So that's one thing I can say about Vergil Ortiz. He has a chin and power and a pretty good jab. Cap Velasquez thought his jab was better than Terence Crawford's. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the fight. Not trashing Vergil Ortiz, but you know, when you come for the throne, you know, we come for the head. You know, if you shoot the king, you know, you better not miss, man. You better hit him in the head, hit him in the dome, make sure he's gone the first time. Because Terence Crawford is not just the best welterweight fighter, he's the #1 pound for pound best fighter in the world, and he's been proving it, right? The 140 division, like I said earlier, he stopped all the guys at 140, went up to 147, and he's making a statement by knocking all these guys out and showing that it wasn't just that I'm dominant fighting these little guys, I'm dominant fighting these big guys too. You know, Benavidez was bigger than him, Carl Brook was bigger than him, you know, Cap Velasquez is bigger than him, you know, I can keep going on. A lot of these fighters are bigger than him, right? And he's walking through these fighters. Especially the Cap Velasquez fight. You know, Cap Velasquez looked like a nobody, and as soon as Terence Crawford got dropped by Cap Velasquez, it was a competitive fight, but as soon as you know, Terence Crawford wanted to impose himself on him, Cap Velasquez was completely outclassed. And you know, Terence Crawford, the crazy part about him is walking people down and having a dogfight is actually Terence Crawford's bread and butter. He's actually better than in a dogfight than a pure boxing fight. You see what happened in the Carl Brook fight. When he's boxing Carl Brook, he was losing the fight. You seen what happened to, you know, until he stopped him. You see what happened to Euclides Gamboa. Gamboa was outboxing Terence Crawford until Terence Crawford imposed himself on him and stopped him, right? Amir Khan was outboxing in spurts and little pieces, but he got dropped too early, so he didn't have a chance to really outbox Crawford. Or he got dropped like in round 1 or something like that with a straight right. So Terence Crawford is just elite, and he's a dog, man. He's a dog. Anyway, man, let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Terence Crawford, big words from Vergil Ortiz, man. Enjoy your victory before I end your career, baby. God damn. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace. Geoboxing Empire. Peace.